Hey there everybody, so who's down for some anal analysis? Bloons TD Battles analysis to be exact. I know a few of you have asked for it, so here you go. Before I begin, let me just say that I'll only be analyzing classic battle arena games because that's where the game's roots come from, and there's simply too many other variables in the other game modes to make it not worth analyzing, especially R3. And secondly, this is more suited towards intermediate players who have a decent understanding of the game already but not so much the itty-bitty details that are preventing them from getting to the top. So if you're an MKOTH player watching this and laughing at my face right now because all of this shit I will say is so basic and any noob should know this, then stop. So the first game we'll analyze is the one versus Snap on Blastopopolis Inferno. Now I know it's a special map and not any of the classic ones, but bear with me. I'm just here to show you general strategy. Ain't nobody got time to go over every single map and tell you exactly on the map to place your dart monkey. That comes with experience or just copying whatever someone else does. With that said, dart farm and ace is what I use for this game, though ace can be replaced by chipper. It's just personal preference for me. When using this strategy you want to place a farm down first with your road spikes at the end of the track. Personally I save 1 or 2 sets in case I'm a bit slow to get up my lead defense on round 10. Then you'll either want to place your 0-0 dart monkey somewhere where it'll catch a lot of track or upgrade your farm to 1-0 before that. This game me and Snap got the dart monkey first, which I believe was the right choice cause we were both able to upgrade our farm before round 2 started. I notice a few people prefer upgrading the farm first in some instances to get that 1 extra banana, but I like to stay on the safe side of things, you know. So once round 2 hits, you'll want to send balloons at your opponent if you feel their defense is inadequate. Clearly a 0-1 dart monkey can't do shit. He upgraded the right side one too many times. So I'm going to send group reds followed by spaced blues to force him to upgrade it. The reason you follow with blues is cause blues are faster than reds, so that means the blues will clump up on top of the reds, making it about 30% tougher for someone to handle. Notice he doesn't send any balloons at me, and that's because he wants to get up his second farm by round 3 no matter the circumstances. And so he does, along with using a boost in the meantime to prevent him from leaking to that round 2 rush at all. Personally I would have tanked those 10 lives and saved my boost for later, because you only have 3 and each one of them is very valuable. Anyways, since no balloons were sent on my side, you can afford to play greedy and lay off on upgrading your dart monkey until it's necessary. I will point out and say I did make a tiny mistake by upgrading it to 0-2. I would have been perfectly fine with a 0-1 up until round 3 since he didn't send anything, and that would have meant I could get up my farm a few seconds earlier. On to round 4, this is where you want to send pinks because a triple dart by itself cannot solo them. They'll continue to leak lives up until they get up to triple dart monkeys. But with proper placement and targeting you can limit the lives lost with just a 0-2 dart monkey. If you're one of those dicks who constantly send pinks no matter what, you could still do that at this point and get a few lives off your opponent, but I don't recommend it because farming is more important than those few lives. One key to getting gooder at the game is constantly monitoring what your opponent is doing. A lot may not have noticed what just happened right now, but Snap just sold his dart monkey to upgrade his farm. And you know what that means, you gotta make him pay for it, get him to repurchase his dart monkey by sending more pinks, and maybe more lives in the process. Sadly no luck, but hey, had you been in the same situation and not noticed that, you would have let him get up his next farm even earlier. Once round 6 hits it's pretty trivial to send blacks, but surprisingly they aren't much better than blacks. 2 triple darts will do the work for the most part, so if they have anything less than that, send some blacks to force the upgrade. Skipping on to round 8, now you have a bunch of lethal weapons at your service. Yellows, whites, regrow yellows, and commo regrow reds without the commo. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out two dart monkeys can't handle any of the above, so why not spam a bunch of yellows and see how he responds? In this instance I was hoping to get out the battle energy, but 20 lives is fair enough. Keep in mind to not go all out on the round 8 rush though, because even though you're getting eco for the balloon sends, it puts you behind on farms as well as your lead defense on round 10. Speaking of which, let's jump right on there. If you see your opponent doesn't have any lead defense, then you should always go for them. Most good players will have chipper so they can simply get up a 2-0 to take care of it, but since I'm using ace, so I have to spend a lot more on an early juggernaut, yet another reason why chippers are still pretty damn good. On the other side, Snap's putting his 4th tower to good use. Glue is even cheaper than chippers for lead popping power, which does the job equally well, so even though glue is a shitty tower overall in battles, there's always a time you could use it to gain a slight advantage. Obviously, since glue nor chipper can hit combos, Snap will need to sell those on round 12, which he does. Now from round 13 on you'll really need to stay on your heels for any possible regrow zebra rushes, because it can happen at any time. Like right now. Instead of boosting with battle energy, I could have opted to sell my farms to quickly get a better defense up, but I went for the safe and sure route. After this rush though, you shouldn't feel comfortable, because any decent player will know your monkey boost is on cooldown and send a bigger secondary rush. Which is exactly what happens here, and this is where you have to have decent micromanagement, otherwise you'll lose. Don't worry if you lack that skill. You can easily practice it by playing more games, or taking the quick route and watch porn. So I may have went a little overboard on the farm selling, but it was in the heat of the moment, so it's better safe than sorry, right? Now at this point, and I noticed this happened in a few of my recent battles, a big mistake people do is they sell their farms to defend the rush, but they don't sell the newly placed towers to repurchase the farms. If you're not doing this, then you're losing out on a whole lot of cash. Sure, the dude may rush you again after seeing you sold the towers, but it's better that happens instead of him easily pulling away with farm income. At least you'll both have wasted more money. Now it's time for me to return the favor with a round 15 regrow lead rush, because look at that defense and what he's been getting away with while I was too busy concentrating on my side. This will force him to boost and buy more towers, but what do you know, yet again he sends me another rush, but this time my first energy cooldown has worn off, so I opt to just boost right away instead of having to sell those farms again. Interestingly, he took sub as his 3rd tower, and I can't argue about that really. This map has a really good reactor spot, though the amount of water is so small that it'll lose its effectiveness pretty early into the late game. And another tip for you all, don't get too greedy saving your boosts, because sometimes it'll cost you. I know it's happened to me a few times, and it almost happened to Snap here. He only lost 10 lives, but I bet if he boosted just 1 or 2 seconds later he would have been toast. Pause the video. So now we're at a crossroads at what to do. Because he had to sell farms to get up that sub, I am now ahead in farm income. Right now I could either rush him again with my advantage, or simply keep farming because I know I will beat him to the punch. And the latter is what I do because it looks like his B is really solid, but not after he sold this juggernaut to get up a republic. Remember what I said earlier, guys, punish your opponents for their greediness. Actually, I never even said anything remotely close to that yet, but whatever, the point still stands. But ISAB, the nuclear sub, is OP. What could possibly beat it at this point? The answer is regrow ceramics, my friend. Because his dart monkeys are way back at the end of the track, the ceramics will waltz right on by and will only be popped once it's too late. It's likely Snap was caught off guard by this rush, and that's why he boosted a little late yet again, and it ultimately cost him the game. And that's it, folks. I could give you all the information I have, but it would still come down to you and your ability to recognize holes in the opponent's defense, because not everyone's going to go for the dart farm strategy. So hopefully this video helped you improve on that. It would have been nice if the game was dragged on a bit longer so I could talk about MOABs, 4th tier factories and shit, but that's okay cause I talked about that 1,000 times before. Plus, most games won't even make it that far if you're uber aggressive and you're rushing. Okay, I'm done for sure now. Holy shit, was this analysis long? You could bet your ass this took forever to say, so for my hard work I'd appreciate any feedback or positive ratings from this video. Once again, this guide is for your average Joe, and not for newbies or MKOTH players. Have a detailed day.